Hello there. Thank you for joining me. We're going to paint a quiet landscape today. It's going to be real quiet, almost still, almost deathly still. And then we're going to put two little kids in it and the thing's just going to spring to life. I'm anxious to get started, so let's go to the palette. The mixture that I'm going to use, I've pre-mixed it just to save a little time because I wanted to have a little time to play around with the children. This is sap green, white, with a touch of yellow ochre. Now I pre-sketched my canvas so that I'd have some guidelines to sort of lead me through the painting in a kind of hurriedly. I know that you probably can't see them, but I'm going to ease around these little kitties. I'm going to take my time doing it, sort of meticulously. This is a little guy sitting right here. They're sitting on an old broken tree. Already see him, can't you? Okay, now this is his partner right over here, a pretty little girl with the little pigtails hanging down her back. This mixture that I'm using is sap green, white, put a little touch of burnt umber in it to take some of the brightness out of the green, a little bit of yellow ochre. And I thinned the paint a little bit so that it'll glide easily so I could work around the kitties in sort of kind of hurriedly. Because this is just background area we're fooling with now. Okay, they're sitting on an old broken tree. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of this ground area up to the horizon, up to this area. Same color. I'll go back and highlight the top of the ground area a little bit later. And I'm leaving the kitties out until later because I want you to see just how fast a quiet, peaceful scene can change when you give it a little life. Without the kids, it has almost, like I said, a still, almost a deathly still to it. But when you put the kids in, lo and behold, you have added life to the painting. It takes on a different look altogether. Okay, let's work around her head at the top. This old broken tree is fun to paint too. Now I'm using a bristle brush because I'm trying to push this paint down in the teeth of the canvas. I'm working on raw canvas. By that I mean I don't have any paint underneath what I'm doing here. So I'm using a bristle brush which has stiff hairs in it. That's to push the paint down in the weave of the canvas. You know, these things have teeth. These canvases have teeth, and if you don't push your paint, what happens? You have little bitty white holes showing where it did not go down in the weave of the canvas. Okay, this is her skirt, filling in the ground area around it. And it's going to be the base of the tree coming across here. Broken, it comes up this way. Okay, now I think I'll just jump up to the sky real quick and start my horizon, my middle sky and my top sky. Back to the palette. Bigger brush. Handsy yellow and white. Okay, starting in the horizon with the yellow and white. Working upward about 2.5, 3 inches. If you go a little higher, if you don't go quite as high, it won't matter. A little more one way or the other won't make a bit of difference. I won't tell if you don't. Okay, now I'm just wiping my brush and adding a touch of alizarin crimson to my yellow mixture. Touch of alizarin to the yellow. So far I've used yellow, I'll get it in a minute. Handsy yellow and white. I changed over from the cad yellow because of the toxicity or whatever it is that's so controversial right now. We're using all paints that you can't hurt you. Okay, this time I'm going to have to wash my brush because I'm going to load it with blue. And blue and yellow will do what? See, I still have yellow on my brush. You've got it. It turns green. Going to fill in the rest of the sky with this color. Now I think I'll add a little more white to that mixture though. Little more white. Down to the middle sky. And just for a little added interest, I'm going to add a little bit of Viridian green. Didn't wash my brush, but I did wipe it. I'm going to add a little Viridian green to the right-hand corner. And that works so pretty, I'm just going to go over here and add a little bit to this area. Okay, now I'm going to the fan brush, and I'm going to do a little blending. My fan brush is dirty, so I'm going to wash it first and get it good and dry. And I'm going to blend between the yellow and the pink mixture first. And if I think I can get by, now I better wash it. Don't take chances, Norma, don't take chances. Now I'm going to blend between the blue, the green, and the pink. All I want to do is just lose the edges. I want to lose the harsh lines. I don't want to lose my colors. I want to see the blue, I want to see the green, I want to see the pink. Looks just like a rainbow, doesn't it? Isn't that beautiful? Like it and I love it. Picking up another brush now, just to save a little time, I'm going to add a few clouds. Let's see. Now I'm using just white for this. If you wanted to add other colors, you could add a little peach, a little yellow, any color you want. Well, no, you couldn't add any color you want. You could add the yellow or the pink. That'd just about have to do it. Let's take this one on over a little bit farther. I'll dry my brush and blend. And reshape a little if I want to. And this is my painting, and I do want to. I'm using my artist license and doing what I want to with this painting. Soften downward into your other colors here so that you don't have a division. I think it looks good. I think I'll move on to the foreground now. I'm going back to my fan brush. No, I'll tell you what, let's put the background trees in first. Let's use alizarin crimson and Payne's gray and white and a soft brush. We're going to get some purple background trees back up here on top of this hill. Let's put in little patches. Start on the left, let's work on down here. We'll put a few patches here. Now in just a minute I'm going to come back and push these colors upward. Right now I'm just kind of laying them in, getting my shapes kind of set in my mind what I want to go where. Now go back over to the right side and start to do a little pushing. Up into the wet sky. While I'm at it, I can pull some shadows down on the bank too. Push, 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 push. Tap, 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 tap. Soften, 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 soften right up into the wet sky. See, your brush is picking up some of that yellow underneath, giving you a real pretty effect across there. Now I'm going to skip over to this one and do the same. Well, wait, let me touch that up. Do the same thing here. Payne's gray and alizarin makes a pretty color, doesn't it? Burnt umber and alizarin does too. You really wouldn't think so, but they do. They make beautiful, beautiful combinations. And right now mauve is so popular. And I hope it stays for a long time, because that's what I've got in my house on my carpet. So I sure hope it stays popular for a long time. Now I'm making a mixture of Viridian green and Payne's gray. Not going to be able to tell too much of a difference. Viridian green, Payne's gray, and white. Viridian green, Payne's gray, and white. We want some green trees up in here now. And we want a little patch right here. Some over in here. I'll lay the color in, make me some little shadows, like some little ruts in the top of the ground area. Stipple these tree tops, stipple the sides, keep them ragged, keep them uneven. Kind of blend my colors together. Now what did I use? I used Viridian green and Payne's gray. Alizarin crimson in Payne's gray. And look what beautiful combinations we're getting with those. Just as pretty as a picture. Okay, let's push this one up now. While I'm up in that area, I think I'll go ahead and lay in some, I'm going to stay in that area just 1 minute. Go ahead and lay in some tree shapes up in there to kind of break the monotony on the sides, the side rather, of the canvas here. Then I'm going to take the fan brush and add a few highlights up at the top, and then I'm going to do the rest of the work in the middle part of the canvas and the bottom, that's where the kids are, and the dead tree. I want to be able to get out of this corner up in this area up in here real quickly. Just highlights for the tops of the banks, just to give you some interest up in there. Okay, I'm going to do one other thing up in there, and then I am going to do what I promised you and move on down. I am going to put a shadow from these trees. For that I want burnt umber. Long shadows. Late afternoon. Okay, now I'm going to start on the little kitties, and I'm going to a little bit smaller brush. Going to lay in the shadows on the little boy first. Using Payne's gray, cerulean blue, and a little white. This is the shadow under his arms on his shirt. Okay, I'm going over to the little girl and putting the shadow between her arms and her dress, on the neck of her blouse. Now I'm going to white, clean, clear white, and fill in her blouse, the back of her shirt, back of her blouse rather. Well, let me change that. I filled in the arms of her blouse, the back of her blouse, his shirt. Let's put his shirt in. The arms, and blend. Okay, now I'm going to cerulean blue and burnt umber. I want to thin that paint a little bit and get his overalls in. You ever heard people call them overalls? Okay, let's put his little fanny right down on this tree. His legs underneath the tree. His leg. The back to his overalls. The straps. White to highlight. His rear end. To separate his legs. Okay, the little girl will be alizarin crimson and burnt umber. We'll put the shadows in on her, under the log of the tree, dead tree. On her dress, and she's wearing a little pinafore. Now we're going to add the white. Put a few little folds in her dress. She's wearing a pretty, her dress has a beautiful little bow on it. Let's see if we can get that laid in. I think we can. We'll give it a go. Let's put a shadow underneath it so we can be sure to know that it is a bow. Okay, back to the palette. We're going to mix a flesh tone now. Let's use yellow, ochre, and white. To that, let's add a touch of alizarin. Yellow, ochre, and white, and a touch of alizarin. We want to paint their faces now. Okay, got to get it light enough now. Only a little bit of their faces show. You're only going to see the side of them. You do see a little bit of his neck. You see a tiny tad of her neck. Okay, let's put the hair in now. Go to a smaller. Step right back here and get my smaller brush and burnt umber. We stippled her hair in with just burnt umber, and you don't use a small brush for this. Give her a little lash while we're working there. Little eyelash. Bring the pigtail down her back. Put a bow in her hair. Okay, let's use the Payne's Gray for his hair. To that, let's add a little bit of white. Look like a cap on his head, doesn't it? Well, we'll pull some bangs out now. Now we got it, poor baby. You a pitiful looking little fella. And he is so shy. You see how he's looking down? But this little old girl's after him, I do believe. Okay, let's fill in the log now, the dead tree, fallen tree. Using the Payne's Gray or the black, whichever you have handy. There's a part of it over here that's sort of upright. Might as well get that while we're working. This is the part that's falling. This is the part that's sitting on. Flat. You've seen trees like this in meadows that just absolutely fall right over. Bet you've sat on a few of them and gotten red bugs, because they sure will get red bugs after a while. Okay, while that's drying just a few minutes, I'm going to fill in the foreground area with a little bit darker green. I pre-mixed it. This is sap green and burnt umber. And part of this mixture here. We don't want to go from, I see I left a limb out. Well, I'll catch it. Don't want to go too fast from one value to another. So while I'm using that, I'm going to ease up in here. And I think I'll just paint that limb out. I don't like it anyway. Separating those little people like that. I bet the mama put it there. Okie dokie. Now this area down in here can just be real messy, because I'll tell you why. We're going to fill it up with flowers. But remember what I said now, you can't jump from one value to another too fast, so you're going to have to add a little bit of this color up in here too. In the crack of that tree right there. Now I'm going to take a big brush and fill in the whole foreground area. This is sap green and burnt umber. Then I'll go back and put some highlights on the tree and some flowers down in here. And we'll see what we've got here. Now see, without these children, look what a quiet, peaceful scene you have. Just put your hand up and block them out. And you're going to see you've got almost nothing without the kitties. Now the areas that I'm not going to have to highlight, I'm going to take some of this foliage on up a little bit higher to push the rest of the composition back into space. Okay, now I think I'll use this same brush because it'll give me a good scumbling feeling. And I'm using white, yellow ochre, little bit of my Payne's gray. The old tree, the old upright tree, you're going to do the same thing. Leave the decayed part open. Let's get a little more highlight on this one. That blue looks good on there. See, leave this old ragged part dark. A little more highlight here. Little kitties, you are so cute. And I think I'm going to put some flowers. I'll use this same brush and place some flowers down in this foreground to brighten it up a bit. This is alizarin crimson and white. Let's put some over here going up over the tree. Alizarin in white. How about a few blue and white? Wouldn't that be neat? Now, wouldn't that be the neatest thing? What I usually do when I paint these is I just fill this area down in here up with flowers, every color under the sun, yellows and everything. But I don't know whether we're going to have time to do that or not, so I'm just kind of getting the basics in for you. You can give it a lot of polish and perfect it to suit yourself. I think I will put a yellow one or two. I just can't hardly stand it. That yellow really gives it some zing, doesn't it? Okay, how about a twig or two? Have to use real thin paint for this. Okay. Add a few twigs out in here, a few twigs here, and maybe a twig or two here. Wouldn't hurt to have another twig or two pulling out here. Okay, and another twig or two here, and I think that's about all the time we have today. I surely have enjoyed working with you. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I'll see you next week.